Be ready to change yourself. Be ready to challenge your better self. Know that your mind can develop a passionate winning spirit, but not by yourself. We guarantee your family in love with your life, and you're gonna love all the grind. Lewis and Bars together, we develop your mindset with vitamin C for your mind. Don't you settle with what you know. There's much to learn, there's much to earn. Tell yourself I'm ready to fight, ready to be heard. Out of success and awakening rise. There's so many words that turn into prices. Be ready to change for the best. Step up and be great. Don't be like the rest. Develop your mindset.
Develop Your Mindset podcast, number 44, you guys. We've been doing it over a year now. It's really amazing. We're getting really good at it. I'm getting good at it. My confidence level is way up when I first started, and it's been like really great. So we're going to expand today and talk about social media. If you guys watched it earlier, sorry, we lost that footage. We're going to kind of do it over again. But if you watched last week, this is continuing of what we're doing recently, because we are a podcast where we always talk about what we go through every day, what we do, what's important to us, and this is something that we do a lot. We're very familiar with. We love doing it. So this is very important for us to talk about and put information out. Since Develop Your Mindset podcast is about helping, about putting information out about things that we do weekly, we go through, and this is part of it. So we're going to be talking about mostly YouTube today, because YouTube is one of the social media that we use a lot. This is very big, very deep, very important. So we're going to be talking about all of that today. And let's start.
Let's do it.
First question, it's going to be, let's talk about YouTube, right? How YouTube changed your life? How did it do social media?
Yeah, so how did it change my life? Like as far as like we're talking about like YouTube, yeah. So when I first encountered YouTube, yes, like I said in the previous podcast, I mean, it was like through music, I was trying to look up a song, and then I found it, and then I got exposed to this website that had like a lot of video content on it. And at the time, it was still like in its own independent company, and it wasn't owned by Google yet. Google actually had like a rival type of service, which was Google Video, and they were kind of doing their own thing. But the website itself wasn't as good and as polished as YouTube was. So I think Google saw the potential, and then they brought out YouTube, and I think that was a great decision. But definitely, I mean, like YouTube really, it gives you like that feeling that you can put your content out there, you can broadcast that content out there to so many people, as opposed to back then, if you had like a piece of content that was like a video or something, you would probably have to pay, to get your content out there, as far as like maybe putting it on TV or putting it on some sort of website or stuff like that, But now you can put out content for free, just on YouTube, and you can just upload the video, and it's very quick and fast, and yeah, I mean, it was definitely a life changer, because like through video, you can do a lot of things. You can reach out to people, build communities, you can express yourself, people can get to know you, and you can exchange, education and tips and stuff like that with people who, it would be very hard to meet in person, Now you can just do that through YouTube and really create those connections that can ultimately, help you grow. So, definitely an awesome platform, and, we're just going to get really deep into it, later throughout the podcast. But, that's how really YouTube changed my life.
Yeah, for me it was very, first time I heard YouTube was the Lebanese and Israeli war, because I'm Lebanese Armenian, and I was very curious. And my friends were telling me like, hey, you can watch it on the internet. I'm like, where? YouTube. Oh, okay. You type in YouTube and watch this whole crazy bombs falling, everything. Like people were posting from Israel, and Beirut. Yeah, it was really one of the most important, most famous video at that time was this guy was watching his phone, recording himself by the beach, and the bombs start falling right behind him. And that video went viral, and that was something was like everybody was talking about it, and after that, YouTube was very important part of my my life, and that was my first experience. It was crazy like that. Yeah, yeah. I wonder if those videos still exist, right?
That's great.
Yeah.
Maybe they do. Maybe they do.
Probably, right? Since internet is forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's dive into the questions. When did you hear about YouTube? First, what was your experience with it? And if you know what you know today, what could have you done it differently?
Yeah. Yeah, so back in the day, like, as far as, like, the music industry goes, it was pretty hard to find, free music online. You literally had to go and buy the actual disc, if you wanted to listen to music.
Right.
Back in the day, you had to go and buy the CD. And, at the time, I didn't have a job. All I did was go to school. So, I couldn't afford to go and buy, CDs. So, I had to find a way to listen to these songs, and so, I would go online. And then, once in a while, sometimes, you would find a song on some website, like Google Video, but like, and there was like other like video hosting, websites out there, but then I found YouTube, that's how I really found YouTube, and it was kind of crazy, that, YouTube, you have all this music to your disposition, you can just listen to any song that you want at pretty much any time. You just gotta have an internet connection, and pretty much, there you go. So, but like as far as like how I know YouTube now, now YouTube is more than just a website that you can just listen to music. You can educate yourself. You can change your entire life through YouTube. If you use YouTube properly and use it to educate yourself, because there's so much education. There's so many content creators on YouTube today that you can pretty much learn anything you want, and some creators are like really good. So then you can literally like you can literally save yourself a lot of money too. Because like some of these content creators are creating content that's even better than most colleges and universities, or it's probably at that same level, but it's for free because you're using YouTube. So like it's crazy, the amount of the level of content, that's on YouTube these days. And if I would have known this, back in the day, I would definitely, jumped on board, because back in the day the competition wasn't as strong as it is today. Today, the technology has just it's grown exponentially, and the access to information is just so easy now that anybody today can start their own YouTube channel, and they don't really gotta, start that YouTube channel, with limited information, because there's just so much information out there. You can start off your YouTube channel. You can start it off pretty decently, because, there's courses out there now. There's people teaching you how to start your own YouTube channel, and like, it's just, like, at this point, there's no excuse for you not to start your own YouTube channel if you want to start one, because the information is out there. So if you're not doing it, it's pretty much your lack of, your laziness and your lack of wanting to take action. So definitely, I would have definitely jumped on board, but it didn't happen. But it doesn't matter, better late than never. So if you're watching this, start your YouTube channel today. You're not too late.
Yeah, I totally. If you have something to say, important, and you want to share, it's a very good platform to do that. My experience with YouTube was like, I wanted to make videos after watching a lot of videos. I was like, hey, if I make a video about what I'm doing, maybe that would be great for my business or my stuff that I would always put out. And I remember telling my brother, we left work one night, maybe like 5 years ago. I'm like, we should make videos. I'm thinking to make 300 videos this year, otherwise it's not going to help. I kind of had an idea, like, I could do that. And it returned to me as like, you're out of your mind. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah. And I wish I took the action back then, and I didn't. But I was always on this standby until one day, it grew in me, and it was just like, I should do it. I want to do it. And then, I went to action. And here we are. Every day I learn more and more about it. And there's so much we're going to talk about YouTube channel, how to do and have a channel, and there's a lot to learn. Just recently I was listening to this guy. The guy goes, you should start your channel, you should use it, and when it comes to basically, the guy was saying, learn everything, how to start your channel, but then focus on one thing for 6 months, voice. perfected than video, perfected than, step by step. There's many steps we're going to talk about. So this is what he was recommending, and I think, depending what you want to do, if you want to be like really amazing, good channel, then you probably want to invest that much time doing, becoming really good at something. Because in the end, if you do it really good, then your channel is going to look like that.
Yeah,
so that's my experience of YouTube. So next question is, when did you hear about YouTube first? What was your, I think I didn't say this, right? Yeah. Okay, does YouTube still works? This is an important question. As far as the subscription, people watching your videos, as far as social media and especially YouTube, they're still growing platforms. What are some of the ways you grow YouTube platform?
Yeah.
First question is very important. Keep in mind. First part. YouTube still works.
So does it still work? Of course, yeah, YouTube still works. But I mean, it depends what your definition of YouTube work means. Like you really have to have an intention when you're going on YouTube and you're trying to make videos. On YouTube, you have to know like exactly like what is the purpose of them? Like why are you creating videos? Like I spoke, previously on the podcast. Like you gotta have an intention. You gotta know like why you're creating these videos. So the easiest format to follow when you're creating a YouTube video is to have a problem. Have a problem that your audience, whatever your audience is, that you have picked. What is their problem? What's one problem that they have, and what's the solution that you can offer? So, like for example, like I said previously, like you say, I want to create a video that teaches people how to write the first chapter to their first own book. So in that case, I think the problem is that there's somebody out there who wants to write a book, but they don't know how to start. So so that's the problem. They don't know how to start, and the easiest way to start is to write the first chapter. So I'm going to teach you how to. The solution is that I'm going to teach you how to write that first chapter. I'm going to break it down for you and make that easier. That way you start your first chapter. So that's pretty much the format that you can follow, and that is the easiest way to make a video on YouTube. So that you have an intention. And then does it work? Like what else do you want out of it? Like once you make a video, like what do you want? Do you want a lot of views on your videos? Do you want people to, click some link down below? Do you want them to go to some website? Do you want them to watch? Do you want to increase their watch time on your videos? Like, what is it? What do you want out of YouTube? Because if you're not clear about that, then you're sort of going lost on YouTube. You're just uploading videos without any sort of like intention. So you gotta have your intention very clear. Like, what is it that you want out of YouTube? And only until then will you know how YouTube works, and you can optimize YouTube so that it works in your favor of whatever it is that you want out of it. So, some people just want to, engage people. So some people just care about like getting a lot of views, getting attention. They want people to know them. And then, there's other people who want to use YouTube as a way to drive traffic to your website. And that's also good, whatever it is that you want to do. But, YouTube there, use it. Remember, don't let YouTube use you. You gotta use YouTube. So make sure like you're like. So does it still work? Of course it works. And what are some ways to grow on it? Well, like I said, you gotta have that intention first, and then you gotta have a plan. Like who the videos are going out for, and you gotta have like things like you gotta study the algorithm of YouTube. You gotta learn about keywords, about thumbnails. You gotta learn about all these things. Keywords, headlines, all these things are very important to YouTube. But of course, you don't have to master them all at once, like from the beginning. First start creating your content, and then little by little, start optimizing. Start doing things like you can optimize your call to action. You can optimize your links. You can optimize the length of your video as well. Maybe you make them 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Whatever it is that your audience wants. Your visuals, the type of equipment you use, the angles, the locations that you film in. There's a lot of things. Your microphone. There's just so many things that you can optimize. So you gotta know what you're doing. You gotta know who this is going for, and the best way to really do that is to really study your competition and see, what are other people in your headspace doing, what are they doing, and really, study that, and then try to like create something that's very similar around that as well. But of course, with your own touch, always staying real, always staying honest, and always, showing the other person that you're very transparent and that this is who you are, because at the end of the day, whoever consumes your video is going to be consuming it because of you, because of who you are, because there's probably a lot of people already teaching or entertaining in the same way that you do, around those lines, but nobody's doing it the way that you're going to do it, because nobody can replicate, who you are as a person, that's unique to you. So that's the reason, that's the one thing that you should take, when you're feeling discouraged that, oh my God, like everybody's already making these cool videos, why should I make it? These people are already like ahead of me. Don't worry about that, because you're yourself, you're unique. And so, the audience that watches you is going to watch you because of you, because they like to listen to you. They like to listen to your voice and the way you deliver the content. So, yeah, definitely.
Totally. Consistency is important too.
Yes, totally.
Next question. I had something to say, but I'm gonna try to go a little bit faster because I feel like there's a lot of things I want to ask and elaborate on. Let's talk about content creation. When someone hasn't done any content creation, what can they do with what kind of apps or books or read books I can read, and can they really do to get some inspiration or learn the rules of content creating?
Yeah, so when you're doing content creation, at first you may not know exactly what kind of content you want to create. You may have an idea, but you're not exactly clear as to what type of content you want to create, and perhaps you don't know your audience that well just yet. So at first, what I would recommend is that when you're creating content at first, just be creative with it and just do whatever that comes to mind, Whatever comes to mind, you create it and you put it out there, because at this point, it's too early to really determine what kind of content your audience is going to resonate with. You don't know that. So you need to gather that data. So what I would say is just, look at your competition, see what they're doing, and then take some inspiration from what they're doing. And you can even try to go to the length of actually replicating what they're doing, replicating their content. But of course, put your own twist to it and put that out there and see if people are liking that. And, the more content you're able to put out, the more data you're going to receive and see, and as far as the content goes as well, each piece of content should have its intention in order to see if it works or not. So if you're trying to create content that's going to drive traffic to a website, your metric should be am I increasing the traffic on my website or not with this type of content? Or if you're creating content for engagement, you want people to like your content, then that's your metric. You got to check if people are liking your content or not. But at first, just start pumping out content. Start pumping it out, and later you gather some data, and once you have some data of what actually works, then you can start creating more of that content that actually works and that connects with your audience. Start creating more of that, and then that's when you start getting into things like consistency, and you start to do branded content, which is content that's not only are you putting it out consistently, but the content itself is branded. When people see your content, they know it's coming from you specifically and not from somebody else. So you can do those things, but those things come later on once you already know what kind of content people like. Because at first, if you try to do all these things at once, then you might be wasting a little bit of time here trying to brand your content and create and stick to only one specific type of content, when maybe the people that are looking at your content, they probably don't like it, and so you might just be wasting your time. So be open to, maybe you create bad content, maybe you create good content at first, and criticism. Yeah, and it's risky because you will get criticized for your content no matter what. So really when it comes to that, you really got to make sure that you know your audience well and that you only take feedback from your audience itself. If somebody who there's people who, you're not creating content for them. So if they don't like your content, well, that's fine because you're not making the content for them anyway. So it doesn't matter, you can't please everybody. So you got to really look at the people you do want to, connect with as far as what your content goes and see, if they like it, that's what matters. But if they don't like it, or the people you're trying to attract and you're trying to connect with don't like your content, then that's when you should start, changing up your content and try to figure out what kind of content you want. But, that's really the gist of just creating content, Yeah.
Yeah, like you said last week, just start when we were doing last week's podcast, which is so true and so important, because when you start something, sometimes you don't know exactly what it's going to go, and then when you do long enough, you're going to figure out what is working, and then you start doing that more often, more of it. And when you don't start, then you don't have that gauging to know. Nothing's going to be 100%. I heard a lot of people tell me, like, for me, it has to be 100%, then I'm going to start. And in reality, when you haven't done it, your 100% is not even 2% of a big channel of what experience they have. That big channel has 2,000 videos. They have 2,000 times experience. Like we had earlier, we had an experience losing the video, and everything. So, you're going to go through so many things like this, and then you're going to start creating this new habit of start recording from beginning instead of waiting to record later and things like that. These are things where you're going to start learning, and your 100% is going to be becoming slowly, gradually going up to, percentage-wise.
Yeah.
One day, hopefully, you're going to get to, if you're serious enough, you're going to get to 100% like the big channels. Yeah. So don't wait, start doing it, pretty much.
Yeah, totally.
Next question is, humans are social animals, right? We are. So we love being socialized socially. And I think social media is, particularly YouTube, is a place where everyone can go and get connected visually. It's a relationship based platform. YouTube is also lots of knowledge resides in the space. How do you see all these elements playing today's YouTube?
Yeah, so it's like creating a connection, right?
Describe YouTube, how you see it, like what is it used for, and how humans are using it.
Yeah, so I think it's just another outlet for people to create connections, and probably a faster way to do that, because you see nowadays, we're like so busy, doing things here left and right, and we might not have that time to go out there and start and meet people, meet new people that might share the same interests, the same passions, the same, really like the same passions, so like, YouTube makes it very easy for you to connect with those other people who might share those type of interests as you do, and you don't have to necessarily be out there and trying to find these people in person, because that would take a lot of time if you have to go and actually meet, like, let's say, how many, 20, 30 people, maybe 50 new people a day, that might be a little hard. I mean, but if you have the time and you want to do that, by all means go and do it, but on YouTube, you can easily start filtering out people and just, find someone who already shares that type of passion as you do, and you can create a very nice connection with those people and really learn a lot from them. And so I think that really comes down to really bonding from a place of like sharing the same passions and, and core values as well, because I think that's really, a very deep, like a deep requirement for any sort of relationship. You gotta share the same core fundamental values, because, we can all be different, but in order for you to get along with someone, that you gotta share those same core values that really mean a lot to you. And so, creating these connections on YouTube, I think it's, and social media in general, it makes it like very easy for you to do such a thing. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a very social place. Also, if you have good social skills, it's going to be a lot easier, I think, to use like a platform like YouTube. Also, if you don't, you can just start and showing things that you're good at, and then eventually start saying a few words, I guess, and then like get really good at it. Then again, you just have to start getting good at something. Yeah, and then you can develop a passion about it. That's another thing. So. Yeah, I was looking at, yes, you have to understand how the platform works. If you don't start, you're not going to understand. Basically, there's so much into it. We're going to be talking about a lot of things right now about how to use YouTube for your benefits. So, next question is, what have you found on YouTube channel, YouTube, such as posting videos and how it works. And that's a lot of people say you need to edit YouTube videos, make thumbnails, like your algorithms, of all these things you have to know to do a better video. And you have to have some kind of understanding. So if you're not familiar with posting videos, how do you go about this? When you start a new channel.
Yeah, so definitely everything that you mentioned is definitely important in order to make your YouTube channel as successful and really, optimize your YouTube channel to its maximum potential, But do you have to do that at the beginning? Of course not. I would say really start simple, start from the bottom, just have that format, like I said, from having a problem and you being the solution, so really because that's really what the benefit is. And of course, you can add a layer of entertainment if that's something that's available to you, because, if you're able to hook somebody, especially if you're doing educational content, if you're able to combine the two where your content is entertaining and at the same time it's educational, that's definitely a very good formula in order to create something that's going to generate a lot of interest. It's going to keep your viewers watching for long, and also It's going to increase your watch time as far as YouTube goes. And if you increase your watch time, well, then you increase your chances of getting your video suggested next to some other top YouTuber, who might be doing well already. So, and that's just part of the algorithm. So understanding the algorithm and doing things like these, can really optimize your YouTube channel. But at the beginning, you just want to focus on just creating that content, creating videos, and making them as best as possible. And of course, you constantly want to keep growing. You constantly want to be educating yourself to, learn, more new things. But of course, you gotta have that repetition phase where, you learn one new thing and you go and you repeat it a bunch of times. That way until, you feel that like you've mastered that, then you move on to the next thing until, you've reached a point where you can optimize your channel to the maximum, and you've done it many times through the repetition. So now it's very easy just to optimize your videos at the end. But, and you'll get better at it as well. Once you're able to, do all these small tweaks, they'll make the difference. But, yeah, I mean, definitely they all count as far as your thumbnails, your headline, your tags, your keywords. Yes, they all matter. I'm not saying they don't, but you gotta take it one step at a time, because each of them, it's its own hard work. You gotta put in a lot of work individually. Thumbnails, you're gonna have to put in a couple, maybe months of, just trying new thumbnails, testing new thumbnails, and getting good at, designing thumbnails. Your keywords, they might take a couple, maybe a month, for you to, decipher what kind of keywords your channel should be based around. And, all of these things will take their own time. So really try to, do the best that you can at first. And, depending on your learning rate, some people can learn faster than others. Some people, just need a little bit more time to grasp the concept, and that's perfectly fine. So we need to take it at your own pace, but of course, always try to do as much as you can. Try to push yourself as far as you can, and then, do that all the time. In order, and it really depends, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want your YouTube channel to be out there, to be famous, and to have it optimized? So, it's really up to you, but, the information is out there, so there's really no reason for you not to be able to do these things. There's already people on YouTube, teaching you how to optimize your channels. And so, there's no excuse. No excuses. If you're not going to do it, then it's just pretty much your laziness and you're just not wanting to put in the hard work, but it's out there. You can do it.
Yeah, it's very, very important. If you want to start a channel and you want it to be successful, don't just try blindly doing stuff. You can go learn so much. You can invest a lot of your time learning and then creating what have you learned to kind of know if it's going to work, what did you learn, what else you need to learn, and those kind of deal. There's a lot of softwares out there. Just recently I learned so many new softwares where it's free and then it gives you a lot, and it helps you to dial in a little bit more and a little bit better. I was looking at a few things here. Basically Canva is amazing site. You could go and create your thumbnails and everything like that. Just it allows you to do so many things. I created my logo so many things.
Yes.
You know, yeah. And what was it? Like YouTube has a dashboard, Creator Studio. It's part of YouTube. Just from there, you can go monitor your videos, how well they're doing, how many people are watching. You don't have to go one by one to go see what your channel is doing. Yeah, that was really good place for me to go and gauge what I'm doing. Is it working? Which video is doing better than the other, and that kind of deal. That was like really basically in jewelry we say, you know, we're doing assaying. We're checking how much gold and how much bad material there is in the gold. You need to get rid of. So that's like you're gauging your channel. You know, it's amazing how it's so big, so much to do, and how you know how you can pinpoint something where you wanna like do better.
Yeah.
So that's my experience just recently. Yeah. And let's go next question. So, what is important when you first post your videos? What are some of the tools that's available for you? The ones important, like headlines, subtitles, and keywords. Like, how do they work? What is YouTube like? How when you post your videos first? What do you do with all this open windows when YouTube gives you all these open windows? What do you do with that? Like, people don't know.
Well, yeah, it gives you a couple tools that you can use right from the get go. So when you upload your video, you have the chance to name your video. So that's pretty much like the headline of the video. So that's extremely important. So the way you want to title your video is depending on how people will find it. So imagine you yourself, you're going to go and try to find your own video. You're trying to, so you go on YouTube and then you have the search bar. And then on that search bar, like, how would you type it if you had to find your own video? Like, what are the words that you would use, you know? So, you can think of a couple, and then sort of like write those down. And then this is very helpful if you do this even before you create the video. That way, when you create the video, you're ready, you're ready to actually, go in there and name your video and and the reason why you want to have more than one is because the main one, whichever one you choose, you put that as a headline, and then the rest of those headlines that didn't really make it, you can use those for the tags section that's more below. As far as like the options that you have when you're uploading, there's a section for tags, and you can put all of those there, which is pretty much your keywords. So you can use that, paste them all in there. And so you have the headline, you have the description, which is, you can put things like your links to your website, links to your social media. That way people can engage with you a little bit deeper. You can put a link to a really free resource. Perhaps in the video you mentioned something about like, maybe you're mentioning like a recipe for some meal you're cooking, and people want to have an actual page where they can see that recipe detailed, like you got to use these much ounces of this and that and mix it here. You got to use 30 minutes here and here. People want to have those specifics, on their phone or on a piece of paper. So then you can provide them with a free resource that says, go and download this for free. Go download my recipe, and I'll throw in an extra free recipe in there as well, so, people can go and do that. So you can leave a link down there for something like that. You can leave a small description too of the video, and you can, in that description, you can use more of those headlines like we were talking about. That way it just makes it easy for people to find your video once they're searching for it. Because the worst thing that can happen is that you create a really great video, but people cannot find it, so then it doesn't get the necessary views that it should. So this all depend on your industry, but you gotta really, create that content that all your keywords and everything around your industry.
So, one thing you reminded me of, if you can elaborate a little bit on that, which is like how niche or market you have to like go in. Like when I say niche, in your industry, there's a bunch of different things you could do. So when you're making video, you probably don't want to do the whole industry itself, but you have to like really focus on something that it's like you're trying to gather people in that space, right? So how do you do that? Like, how do you create that in your mind so you can start making those kind of videos?
Yeah, so depending on the industry, you know, content itself, you can create it around different people since, you know, so many people are different. So let's just take, for example, let's say personal development, or as an example. So personal development content might not be the same for men and for women, you know, because we are two very different human beings here. So you can niche down to specifically personal development for women or personal development for men. And then you could even go deeper in that. And for men, let's just say we choose men here. And then for men, you can choose to teach personal development to maybe only ages from 20 to 30. Because men going from 20 to 30, they're going through certain things. So you can do specific personal development just for them. And then you could even go even deeper. So let's just say maybe you want to choose men between 20 and 30, but maybe personal development that focuses specifically on maybe motivation. Maybe they're unmotivated. So these are like men who are between that range who are unmotivated. You know, perhaps maybe, I don't know, like maybe their self-esteem is low. They have low self-confidence. Maybe they were born in an area where, you know, personal development isn't that popular. So then you can reach down to those people, you know, who are unmotivated. And so that's really how it goes, you know, and then you can create content specifically for unmotivated, 20 to 30-year-olds men who are looking to, you know, pursue personal development. You know, and this separates you from the guy who's teaching personal development for people who are in their 30s and who maybe their problem isn't really, on motivation. Maybe their issue is, I don't know, like, maybe it's purpose. Maybe they're already motivated and everything, but they just don't have a purpose. Like they're having difficulty, you know, having a vision and establishing goals maybe or something. So you can niche down that way. But is it important? Of course, you know, you can definitely like niche down and definitely it'll help you a lot.
That is amazing explanation. That's really good. It helped me to clarify what was in my mind. Yeah. One thing I learned when it comes to keywords, there is this one website where right now it's not working because of COVID-19. I guess everyone's home using this website and it crashed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, rapid tags website where you can go put what you just described. You can put all that, and then it will give you keywords on everything that you. It will generate keywords for you from YouTube. Because they're connected to YouTube. You don't have to go and think about keywords and stuff. You would just put 30-year-old, unmotivated, motivation, this and that, and then it will give you all possibilities of keywords. There's something I learned recently that was pretty cool. Because 2 days was working and then it stopped working. Now there's a little thing saying in red. So how competitive is YouTube? Competitive is crazy, right? What are you really competing with? Like channels, like you try so good. What can I say here? Like why try so good in what you do? So basically, why you have to be really good at what you do? What are you competing against? Right? Channels are a lot of channels are struggling. Why it's so competitive space YouTube is.
Yes. So I think it comes down to like what are you competing for? Like, are you competing for more for views? Are you competing for subscribers? Are you competing for what? So here's the thing, like, you know, first of all, like the way you determine like how your competition is, you know, I think you have two main competitors, and that's first of all the competitors are within your industry. So whoever is making content that's very similar to yours, you know, those are your competition, of course. But and that's the most obvious competition that you'll have. But the other competition that you have is really everybody who's on YouTube, because, you know, everybody's trying to take the attention of the viewer, you know, like, you know, I myself am subscribed to like a bunch of channels, and, you know, all those channels are very different from each other, you know, like I wouldn't consider them competition within themselves, but in a sense they are, because, you know, they're all really competing for me to click on them. So, like, you know, like, even though they're, like, very different industries, you know, but at the end of the day, you know, all of those channels are on YouTube. So So you're essentially competing against other YouTubers, even if they're not in your industry, just because you're participating in the platform. So here's the thing, like, you really gotta focus on creating your content at first, focus on that. Focus on creating good content and content that's good, but also that, fixes a problem, like I said, and also a content that really shows who you are as a person, because, that's what's really gonna determine, who they pick, because I feel like when somebody goes out there and goes on YouTube and they're trying to, like, let's just say they're trying to find out how to do something. So what will normally happen is that somebody goes on YouTube and they try to find, let's just say they want to find, let's just take the personal development example again. They're trying to find like how to get motivated or something, how to make goals. Let's just say somebody's trying to learn how to write their goals down and how to make them. So they go on YouTube and they try to find somebody, and once they find somebody that maybe for whatever reason the thumbnail look good or something, or that was the first option that popped up, or it's the video with the most views. So they go and they click on it, and if they like it, most likely they're going to stay with that channel, and they're not going to be, surfing around and trying to find other channels that provide the same thing, because they found this channel, it looks like it works, and and at that point you become like their authority in that industry. So anytime like I need content that's about how to write goals or something along those lines, how to make my goals better, how to make it more effective, how to make small goals, how to make big goals, I'm going to go to this channel, because this channel, it seems like they know what they're doing. And so that's really what you want to do with every video. You want to come off as an authority. You want to come off as somebody who knows what they're doing, because, at the end of the day, like if somebody finds your video and they seem like you have authority, even if you don't have that many subscribers, even if you don't have that many views, but if they see you as an authority, people hardly ever check that stuff anyway. It's not like, I gotta go and find the channel with the most subscribers, and then that's the channel I'm gonna watch. Like only the ones with the highest subscribers. Like nobody thinks like that. Like everybody just want to be helped. They just want to be entertained. And if you're doing a great job, they don't really care how many views you get, how many subscribers. Of course, in the back of their mind, they might be rooting for you. At some point, they'll be like, oh, I hope you do get more subscribers, but it doesn't matter. People want to go and find whatever it is that they're looking for, either information or entertainment. And if you come up as an authority, well, there you go. You get to keep that consumer, and focus on that. And stop worrying about like subscribers and this and all that. Those will come. Those will come if you create good content. You create content that's worth watching. So
right,
there's that, and then of course you can always optimize your YouTube channel to take it outside of YouTube. So you can create things like you can sell courses that you can promote your course on YouTube and then take them to another website. And if maybe your goal is to make money on YouTube, and here's the thing, like there's probably YouTubers out there who are getting tons of views and have lots of subscribers, but are probably not making as much money. And so you gotta consider those things too. It doesn't mean that because the person has a lot of subscribers that they're making a lot of money. So if your goal is to make money, like you can use YouTube and make a lot of money and make more than probably most YouTubers out there. So really, use YouTube. Use it as one more place to promote yourself and get yourself out there and help people out and build communities and build connections and have fun with it. Really,
yeah. One thing it comes in mind just recently, what's going on with the YouTube situation and Instagram. A lot of people are familiar with the channel London Real, and so basically the reason I'm bringing him up, Brian Rose, is because the guy is so committed on the message that he's not even willing to budge on what YouTube is trying to do to him and to his channel, and also Instagram. They're trying to ban him and they're trying to get rid of his videos and everything. So basically, commitment is part of having a channel, running a channel, right? Running a successful channel, because you want those committed followers to come and watch your channel, and that's what's gonna make you grow. They're gonna be your backbone, right? They're gonna let their friends and family know, especially when you're asking all the time, please subscribe to my channel, and so hit like button and put the thumbs up and all that kind of deal. Those, like you said, you're gonna have people like really committed to you, and like, don't worry, which is very true. Those people are going to be the rooting for you channel. So, like the example is right now is Rona Real.
Yes.
They're not budging. They know they're probably going to get shut down. They're not budging. They're like, this is what we believe in. This is who we are, and this is what we're going to do. And it's amazing what's happening.
It is.
Yeah. So that's almost like inspiring for me when I'm really making my videos. I'm like, I gotta believe in what I'm doing. Like I don't want to do something that is like I just for the heck of it. Like I don't want to like earlier you said you used to like try to mimic other people, try to make some videos like that, which is like exactly you're gonna try to avoid that part. Like you said also. So try to stay true and commit to what you believe in doing.
Yes.
Let's go to the next. Are we kind of running out of time? The first session. Let's start when we start with this video. I'm recording it anyways. I'm not gonna stop recording. Let's go to the next, which this is where we got our video got cut off. So if you're creating a new channel, what is the most important thing that you need to focus on growing YouTube channel?
So what's the most important thing when you're trying to grow it?
Yes. What is the most important thing you should focus about or on growing your YouTube channel if you're starting new?
When you're starting a new YouTube channel, what should you focus on?
Yes. Most important.
I think the most important is that you do your research as far as like your audience goes. Like, really know like who your videos are going for. Don't make your videos just random and just expect people to just watch them because that's just not how it works. You gotta create content that goes specifically to somebody, and that the video itself provides some sort of intention. So, what do you want? What type of intention do you have for the consumer?
Yeah.
So, I think a lot of people when they're just starting off making videos, I know I made this mistake, and probably a lot of people do, is that they try to focus the video as far as like if they like it, like you as the creator, like if you like your own video and like you focus on the fact that if your video is good enough for you. And that's not the point. Like, the point is, like, if your video is good enough for the person who's going to watch it, not yourself, because it's not you who's going to make your channel grow. I mean, by you watching it, it's pretty much the consumer. So you got to focus on them, like, are they going to get the value or not? So focus on them. Focus on, like, how look at your video from the perspective of the consumer, and is your video something that, you would watch, and, like, somebody that the person that you want the video, like, would they watch it? So focus on that, really, at first. Focus mainly on the creation of the video, and then you can focus on optimizing it and making it more, for people to find it. But, at first, just focus on that. Focus on having people, take the value and make yourself come off as an authority, like I've said before, because, like I've said, your video might pop up, and really think about this as a first impression, like, any video that you make and that you upload on YouTube can be your first impression as far as your consumer goes. So you want to be putting out your best self and you want to make that every video the best as best as possible, because you never know which one they might run into at first. And if you're making like some videos good and some you're making them okay, you run that risk of like maybe people click on your video that's okay, and they see your video and they're like, nah, not really, I'm not feeling this person doesn't seem like they're an authority, this person seems like, I just don't connect. And maybe you might have better videos on your YouTube channel, but if that video didn't do it for them, they're not gonna bother to look at your other videos because you just didn't make the first great impression. So really focus on that, make the first great impression, and every video should be that way. Every video should be like the first video you're gonna make, because for your consumer, it just might be the first video they see from you. So, always do the same intros and the same value, and make yourself come off as an authority, like I've said before, because, like I've said, your video might pop up, and really think about this as a first impression, like, any video that you make and that you upload on YouTube can be your first impression as far as your consumer goes. So you want to be putting out your best self and you want to make that every video the best as best as possible, because you never know which one they might run into at first. And if you're making like some videos good and some you're making them okay, you run that risk of like maybe people click on your video that's okay, and they see your video and they're like, nah, not really. I'm not feeling this person. This person doesn't seem like they're an authority. This person seems like I just don't connect. And maybe you might have better videos on your YouTube channel, but if that video didn't do it for them, they're not gonna bother to look at your other videos because you just didn't make the first great impression. So really focus on that. Make the first great impression, and every video should be that way. Every video should be like the first video you're gonna make, because for your consumer, it just might be the first video they see from you. So always do the same intros and the same calls to action, everything, because you never know. It's not enough to just in the first video say who you are, and then the rest of the videos you don't say who you are, because you just never know. And people are not gonna watch your videos in order as well. So they might watch your last video first, they might watch the third video you made first, and so on and so forth. So focus on this. For sure.
Awesome. We still have a lot of questions to go. Let's move on. Why is it so important to learn to invest in YouTube platform, such as communicating with your audience, which is an asset? Your audience is going to become asset, have all the audiences and assets right there. If you're collecting, invest in it, it will return to you the investment when you invest in your audience, and it's not easy, I know. It takes time, but if you're consistent and passionate, what kind of return you could be getting potentially.
Alright, so why is it important to invest in the YouTube platform? And YouTube, the reason why it's so important to invest in that is just because there's just so much attention on YouTube nowadays. Almost everybody's using YouTube, and there's just no reason why you shouldn't put out your content there. If you're running a business, or you're in some sort of industry or something that can create content, then I don't see why you shouldn't create content on YouTube. If you want to get more customers, you want to get more attention for whatever it is that you're doing, YouTube is a great way to do it, because the attention is there. And also, it's a great platform that provides you with a lot of things that you can do, really, because YouTube just offers its own way of the platform itself. You can connect with other channels as well. You can share things. You can go live with people there. You can do so many things on YouTube. So there's just so much, and the return on investment, right? You spoke about here too. So your return on investment. So it depends, what your goal is, and it depends, how bad do you want it, and how much work you're willing to put into the channel, because either way, it's going to take a while before your content on YouTube itself can start to produce any results, because, nothing comes fast. Even though there's so much attention on YouTube, you're still going to have to work pretty hard in order to gain some attention there, because there's just so much attention. It's kind of hard for you to stand out with so many channels out there. So it's going to take some time, but definitely you still want to be taking the right steps in order to ensure that potentially in the future, this will pay off. And, you should be creating it anyway, just so that, when people find you on social media or something like that, maybe on YouTube you may not be getting that much attention, but maybe on Instagram, maybe on Facebook, and maybe from there they want to know if you have a YouTube channel, and if you don't, well then you're kind of missing out on people following you on YouTube as well. So you may be getting these really crazy fans on other social medias, but if you don't have a YouTube channel, then you're kind of just letting them go, because they might not ask again, or they might not bother, because they might just be like, oh, this person doesn't have a YouTube channel, all right, whatever, and they just might forget about it. So then you're gonna have to push your YouTube channel really hard later on, because you didn't have one at first. So definitely have it. It's definitely an investment that can pay off really well later down the run. So yes, and that's pretty much what I'll say about that.
So one thing that comes in mind, because we're talking about having a channel, you should have it, like do what you need to do on it. Like a lot of people are not good in videos, like get on in front of the camera and be relaxed and do a video. What would you say? What would you advise those people to research or to like how they should start being in front of the camera?
Well, I mean, definitely. I mean, there's other alternatives. I mean, you don't have to yourself pop up on camera. I mean, you can make like voiceover videos. You can make slides. You can make all sorts of. You can make animation videos. There's all sorts of videos, type of videos that you can make. You don't necessarily have to show yourself. But if you do want to show yourself, or you feel like the industry that you're in, it might be more useful if you actually showed who you are, and people could see a face behind the video. Then definitely, I mean, I definitely struggled with it when I first started. So something that you can really do is, first of all, you just gotta take action. You just gotta do it, and accept the fact that you're not gonna be so good at first, and it's gonna be kind of hard to talk to something like a camera, because it's not responding to you. It's not giving you any feedback, and us as humans, we're kind of used to talking and getting some sort of feedback in return. When we're talking to a person, we want to get that signal that we're being heard and everything. There's a conversation going. But when you're talking to a camera, there is no conversation going. It's just you and the camera, and you're doing all the talking at that point. So that's just something that you're gonna have to get used to with time. And the thing is that you just gotta find there's techniques, of course. Things like self-amusement, where you can really find ways to just amuse yourself and be content with you just talking by yourself. There's exercises you can do, which is like, you can take classes on like improvising, which helps you come up with content on the fly, which is something that I've done recently, which is I've been looking into like how to improv and how to just come up with content on the fly, because sometimes I really don't know what I'm gonna say. Sometimes I jump into these podcasts as well, and I have no idea what I'm gonna say. I know the topics and everything, but I don't know exactly what's going to come out of my mouth when I say these things. So, it definitely helps when you take like improvisation classes, because it helps you clear your mind, and it helps once your mind is clear, you're not nervous anymore, you're more relaxed. The thoughts and all the information you have in there just comes out more smoothly. But that comes with time. At first, you can't force that thing. So you just got to just gotta do it over and over again until you feel less nervous, and the less nervous you feel, then the more you're able to just express yourself and be more, just communicate your message a lot better.
Yeah, you just reminded me of in the beginning. Do you remember when we used to do the first 10, 15 podcasts? I would be like, I don't know how, I don't know what to say, but like every time we go in front of the camera, next thing I know, like I have hours of stuff to say. But that's basically, it's a human mind. I don't know what it is. It's a psyche, or it's like it's what your mind is doing when you know a lot, and you don't have to explain yourself. You just don't, right? But like when you get into that conversation, your mind does something like where it goes to this place that I'm sure there is an explanation for it. There's a word for it. But like by explaining, because lack of word, by explaining, when we start doing this, suddenly we find ourselves in this space where we get to use our intellectual mind, where we can elaborate and we can talk about, it's amazing how it works, but like if you don't do it, you don't use it. Like you gotta start doing it, and you go to that place, and it's just there, like all those years of learning, it's just right there for you to sit and explain what you've learned, what do you think, It's really crazy how it works. Competitive. Of course, social media is competitive. How high could it go when you are building a channel on YouTube? Competitiveness.
The competitive level? I think like I explained before, the competitive level can go as high as, it depends on your industry, and depends on the quality that you want to deliver at as well. Um, I think we spoke about this in the previous question about like just your competition and really, what you have to do there. And really, you should really base your, I think at first you shouldn't even focus on the competition because you really don't stand a chance. If you're just starting off, let's be honest, you don't stand a chance right now. Like, those people have probably been doing YouTube for like years, maybe 2-3 years. They already have a 3-4 year advantage over you. No matter how good or how bad their YouTube channel is, they have an advantage over you. And you just gotta accept that, and that's fine. Like, obviously, like if you're just starting off, you're just starting off. So don't focus on the competition just yet. Focus on you delivering good content, putting out good videos, putting out valuable videos that are going to actually help the people that you want to help. And that's pretty much it. Stop focusing too much on what the other person's doing and start like stalking other channels and feeling depressed or feeling sad that you're not at their level yet because it's just kind of like nonsense to really think about that because that's just like negative thinking at that point. Because it's not helpful. It's not helpful to you be comparing yourself to channels that have been doing this for years. So just focus on you, doing what you have to do. And of course, later on, once you have like a year or two of experience, definitely, start looking into the competition and start seeing like, okay, where do you stand? But if you're just starting out, definitely just focus on creating good content.
Totally. I totally agree on a lot of channels that I've been watching. Some channels don't have a lot of videos. Like, some channels have 15, 25 videos, but they have a lot of subscribers. It's very different, very weird. You just have to put stuff out there really as clean, as good as possible. And that's it. My next question, let's jump to the next. How valuable is subscribers on YouTube?
Subscribers,
how valuable they are?
Well, it depends what kind of subscribers you have, because some subscribers are just not legitimate and they're not, they can be bots or they can be just people who just subscribe to anybody or just like, I think you should focus more on the quality of your subscribers rather than the amount that you have because, quality subscribers are the ones who are actually interacting with your content. They're going out there and they're applying it. They're liking your videos. They're commenting on them. And, these are the people who you want to, you want as subscribers. So that's why, it doesn't really matter how many you have because, potentially maybe half of them don't even want to don't even engage with your channel. Some people just they see a good video and they subscribe right away, and then they kind of just forget about you. Or sometimes people are just looking for entertainment, or they're just looking for that one tip. And maybe at the time they think your video is cool, so they subscribe, but then they just never really look at your channel ever again because they just never need your help or your entertainment. So definitely, I mean, they're valuable for sure because you can definitely leverage the number of subscribers. Their quality, you can leverage them, and you can potentially get them to take some sort of action. You can create a whole community. Kind of like you said about London Rio. He can maybe he gets banned or something, but at this point, he can still leverage his subscribers and create something outside of YouTube, so he doesn't have to depend on YouTube. And I think that's what he's doing right now. He's creating his own platform, which is pretty cool. But that's what he's doing. He's leveraging those subscribers that he already has, and he's helping them take action somewhere else. So definitely, I would say that's how valuable the subscribers are.
Yeah, they're incredible channel. It's something to look to see what's going to happen. What they're going to do. That's what you're describing is pretty much what's going on. The next is looking at the question. I don't know. Let me try to rephrase this. Now there is the difference between. What is the difference between looking at this YouTube platform as in consumer or developer? So basically this question is like when consumer is using and looking at YouTube, they see it differently. and also developers are looking at YouTube and using differently. What is the difference between them? Like, if you can, like, kind of say how YouTube is viewed.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's, I mean, definitely as a consumer, YouTube is pretty much like their go-to, to go and get entertainment, get education, get some sort of something out of YouTube. They're trying to get some sort of value from YouTube. That's really what they're going for. People need value, and they go and they find it on YouTube, and that's really how the consumer really approaches this. And from a developer, obviously you're trying to provide the value, and of course, you're trying to get your value out to as many people as possible. And so, definitely, as a consumer, if all you're doing is consuming the content, well, then that's really all you're doing. And so, you shouldn't really take interest in the development of it unless, of course, you're going to start developing. But if you are a developer of content, you do have to understand both because, you're putting out the value, but at the same time, it's the consumer the one who's going to be taking in your value. So you have to understand it from the consumer's perspective as well. So if you're a developer, you have to understand both. If you're just a consumer, then you just roll out. You don't have to understand anything that goes behind the scenes of YouTube because you're not going to be in there anyway. So you're just consuming. But if you're a developer, it definitely makes, you definitely have to see the analytical side and you have to see just the consumer side. Are they getting value or not?
Right, very, very different. That's why I put this question there because, people don't realize when you're a consumer, you don't realize how the videos are getting done. Developers, what are they going through? How much work does it take? So, next question is, how can you really do something like YouTube that is so big, so huge, and be doing it good? How can you do this YouTube?
So how can you really do it? I mean, like, do as far as like make videos for it, or?
Yeah, because the YouTube is so big. Like, how can you do good videos and like be good at doing it?
Oh, well, I mean, practice. You really have to do this over and over again in order to make like really good quality content. And you just can't. You can do your research, you can do education and everything, but at the end of the day, it's really your practice that's going to determine, how good the quality of your videos is and how successful you'll be on YouTube. It really comes down to practice. There's no way around that. You got to put in the hard work, you got to put in the hours, the practice, the repetition. You got to put in those things if you want to get good at YouTube, and creating good content. This isn't going to come just from like listening to us or listening to somebody tell you how to do it, because at the end of the day, you still got to do it. No matter how much you don't implement, it's all for nothing. So, yeah.
Awesome. So I think that's pretty much we're coming to the end of this podcast, Develop Your Mindset podcast. And as we know, like we're all kind of like it's been over a month we're stuck home, and I can't wait to go to work at least 4 hours that we're gonna get Monday, and let's start the next chapter of this journey. Organize ourselves and just do it with this new venture economy coming up. And I'm trying to say something here. What kind of development and mindset, since this is developing mindset, you really need to learn when you start your own channel, YouTube?
I mean, just have the mindset of a creator, because ultimately this is what you're doing here. You're being creative. You're being a creator in a platform where more creators are there. So really just have this childish mindset of like, you just want to go out there and just create and just be yourself and see what you can do and be really amazed with what you do and just, have fun with it and really try to put out some value for the person who's going to be watching your videos. And so, yeah, I mean, that's really the mindset I would say. You're basically a creator here. And so creativity is, it's not easy. It really takes a lot of work. But, once you're you get used to, practicing your creative side, it's just going to get funner and funner because the more you learn, the more your creativity is going to increase. And so you'll be able to create so much better things later down the run. So right now, maybe your imagination is limited to what you can do and what is possible. But then later, once that impossible becomes possible, then new ideas and new creative things are going to pop in your head. So definitely just have fun with it and approach it from a creator standpoint where all you're really doing is just creating the best content that you can create.
Yeah, this is very important as far as those people that they don't know, they don't use YouTube, they just use other means of social media apps. But as far as goes on YouTube, it's very simple. Like the other day I was talking to my brother's friend. She was cooking at late at night, and she was on Instagram Live. So we joined and we're talking to her. She's like, "Oh, I love doing this video and video chat thing when I'm on cooking." And I'm like, "You should start your own YouTube channel." She's like, "How do you do that?" I'm like, "You record it like this and you upload it to YouTube and you're done." She's like, "Oh my God, is that easy?" I'm like, "Wait, no." You have to do this, that, this app so you can do better algorithm, this, that. Oh, her mind started going depressed and backwards. And you can see her eyes rolling backwards, There's too much information. But, it's very easy. You just make the video and upload it, and pretty much that's what you have to do to put a video on YouTube. And the rest is all, if you want to do better, you gotta invest time, and it gets pretty deep. That's why the rabbit hole is very deep. When you go on YouTube and you want to do a big channel, you want to do really good, then it's all up to you. But otherwise, you can just make a video and upload it, and that's it. You're done. Very easy. With that, thank you. We finished today's podcast, and we have the recording. I'm so glad. And thank you again, Luis. It was amazing. I can't wait to see you Monday. Get 4 hours of work face-to-face time. And thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, that you saw this video, and then you're about to see it on YouTube. I'm gonna load it on YouTube, and please leave comments and leave your do likes and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Tell your friends if you like the channel, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And Luis, you can close it.
Yeah, so thank you everybody for watching, and it was great to have been able to share all this information with you guys. It's really valuable information, and yeah, we're gonna go a little bit deeper later on through a future podcast. Sure. So how you can do this even more better, and it was really fun, and there's going to be links down below, as we said, to all of our social media, so you guys can go follow us there. And there'll be a link to Varish's own personal YouTube channel, and I'll leave one for myself as well, since I have a personal YouTube channel as well, so we'll leave links to those down below as well. And anyway, guys, thank you guys, everybody, for watching, and we hope to see you in the next podcast.
Yes, and don't forget to leave the link for your book and lots of books we're working on.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.